Let's be honest, most of our notes are dead. They're just useless. They sit there, forgotten, scattered, and doing absolutely nothing for you. Think about it. Endless screenshots, random scribbles everywhere, half-baked ideas across 5 different apps. You often get genius ideas at 2 a.m. and by morning, poof, they're gone. If that sounds like you, then let's face it, your notes aren't working for you as they should. They are just digital clutter. But what if your notes could think? What if they could actually help you generate ideas, spark connections, and dare I say, work for you? That's exactly how Niklas Luhmann wrote 70 books and published over 400 legit research papers. His secret? A system that made his notes think for him. A system that grows smarter every time you use it. And guess what? You could use that same system today, efficiently, digitally, and totally free. The secret isn't about taking more notes. It's about making them talk to each other, like neurons firing, unlocking insights you never saw coming. Sounds unreal, huh? It's time for a quick take. Let's dive right in. Before we jump into downloading anything, let's talk about something most people never stop to ask. Why do our note-taking systems fail us so often? Here is the hard truth. The way we usually take notes, it's broken completely. And here is why. We scatter our thoughts everywhere. A quote saved as a screenshot, a meeting idea lost in some Google Doc, a to-do list on your phone that you swear you will check later, a book summary in Notion, and oh yeah, that one genius thought you scribbled on a receipt, now hiding in your wallet like that forgotten lottery ticket. And where are all these brilliant ideas when you actually need them? Nowhere. They don't exist. They don't help. Now, maybe you're thinking, but I file everything neatly. I organize them by date, by project, by topic. Okay, yeah, sure. Let's be real. Does that actually work? Not really. Why? Because those notes, they are just sitting there, lifeless. They don't talk to each other. A note from last week has no idea that an amazing idea from last year even exists. It's like they are strangers at a party, standing in opposite corners, never meeting. But your brain, it doesn't operate like a filing cabinet. It thinks in sparks, in wild, unpredictable connections. Picture this. You hear a song on the radio, and suddenly you're back on that road trip with friends. And that memory in turn reminds you of the podcast you all binge listened to. And that podcast, it mentioned a productivity hack you've been meaning to try. And suddenly, boom. Now you've got a new way to organize your to-do list. All started with listening to music on the radio. That's not linear. That's not folders and subfolders. That's creativity. When totally unrelated ideas collide and create something new. So right now, our notes are trapped, stuck in separate apps, different folders, forgotten tabs, etc. They never cross paths. They never build on each other. And that means we're missing out on our best ideas. This is exactly what German sociologist Niklas Luhmann understood with his Zettelkasten method. Yeah, it literally means slip box in German. But hey, stick with me. The magic wasn't how he stored the notes, but it was in how he connected them. Every idea linked to another, forming this growing living web of thought. And today, we are building the digital version of that system, a second brain. But not just a storage dump, but a place where your notes don't just sit there. They think with you. They help you. First thing first, let's get Obsidian installed on your device. Search for Obsidian MD and look for the official link, which is obsidian.md, and click on it. Once you're here, the site will try to guess your operating system. Mine has done a good job of recommending the Mac OS version, as I'm currently using Mac. You probably see the right recommendation here, but if it hasn't identified your operating system for some reason, just click here on the link that says More Platforms. And if you scroll down a little bit, you will see different operating systems listed. Click on the right link to download the version for your operating system. I will install the Mac OS version by scrolling up here and clicking on this link. Once you click it, it will ask you to confirm the installation. I will just say allow and wait for it to complete. Once it's done, head over to your downloads folder and you will find the installer. For this demo, mine is on desktop, so I will go over there and double click it. Let me drag this to the middle so that you can see. And now drag the Obsidian icon to your applications folder. Alright, now launch your Obsidian by either going to the applications folder or through a Spotlight search. I will choose a Spotlight search. Once you open it up, you will be prompted to create or open a new vault. So a vault is just a fancy name for the folder where all your future nodes will live. So let's create a new one. Click create new vault. And you will need to give it a name, and I will name mine Second Brain, because that's essentially what we're trying to build here. Click on the browse button to choose a location on your computer where you want this folder to live. I will choose desktop for just this demo, but feel free to choose wherever you want your nodes to live. Now, there you go. You should see the main Obsidian interface. It's pretty minimal at first, but that's about to change. Alright, before we dive into the fun stuff, let's tweak a few settings to make this space a little more fun and nicer. To do that, we need to go to the settings, and you've got two options to access the setting. You can either click on that little cog icon down in the bottom left corner, or if you're like me and love a good keyboard shortcut, just hit Command and comma. Once you're here, the first thing I want to tweak is how the interface looks. So on the left side, click on Appearance. Now let's change the base color scheme to dark, because I prefer dark, but feel free to choose whatever you like. You can choose light, or even better, adapt to the system, which means Obsidian will automatically switch between light and dark based on your Mac OS appearance settings. So basically it inherits from your Mac settings. While we're here, you can also play around with the accent color. Just click this little selector and pick whatever vibes with you. This will reflect in your notes later, so make it really you. Now let's change the theme. Go to the themes row here and click manage. You will see a bunch of options, but for this demo, I will go with minimal. It's clean, seems to be very popular, most downloaded. So click install and use, and boom, you're set. Once you're done, hit that close icon in the top right to close out, and you're back to your notes. Oh, and before we start creating, let's get rid of that default welcome note. We are starting fresh. Over on the left, just right click on that note and hit delete. For some reason, if you do not see the sidebar, it might have been collapsed like this. No big deal. Just click this little toggle icon to expand it again. Easy, right? Collapse, expand, whatever you need. Alright, let's create our very first node in Obsidian. You can either click this new node button up top, or my personal favorite, just hit Command N or Control N if you're on Windows. Now you will need to name your node. Let's call this one Productivity Systems. Hit Enter, and there you go. You will see it renamed here on the left sidebar, which is kind of like a file explorer. So let's actually write something in this node. Now, Obsidian uses Markdown for formatting, which might sound fancy, but trust me, it's super simple. I will walk you through it step by step. First, let's add a heading. If I type hashtag space productivity systems, that hashtag turns this into a big, bold heading, like the title of a chapter. You can have 6 levels of heading in Markdown, from 1 hashtag, which is the biggest, to 6 hashtag, which is the smallest. But we'll stick with just 1 for now. Alright, now that we have our heading set up, let's add some actual content. First, I will write a simple description underneath. This is just a plain text, no formatting needed. I will type productivity systems help organize tasks and maximize efficiency. See, nothing fancy here, just typing like normal. But what if I want to list out a few systems? Well, that's where bullet points come in handy. In Markdown, Creating a bullet list is stupid easy. Just start each line with a hyphen followed by space like this. GTD, getting things done. When you hit enter, it will automatically add the next bullet point. Hit enter, time blocking, enter, Pomodoro technique, enter, enter. Now, Obsidian automatically turns those into a clean and organized list, as you can see. Oh, and if you want to emphasize text, here is how. Single asterisks or stars around the word make it italic, like this. Double stars make it bold, like this. Now, let's dive deeper into one of those systems. I will create a new node specifically for the Pomodoro technique. Same drill, Command N, and new node appears and name it. I will name this one Pomodoro technique. In this node, let's create a title with one hashtag. So call it hashtag space Pomodoro technique. Then let's add a quick description. A time management method developed by Francesco Cirillo. Now for a subheading, I will use two hashtags. This creates a slightly smaller heading than the one hashtag. So two hashtags space, how it works. And under that, a number list. To insert a number list, start typing one dot or period, then space. See, Obsidian will auto-format the numbers for you. Choose a task. Now when I hit enter, it will add the next number list. Boom. Set a timer for 25 minutes. Enter. Work until the timer rings. Enter. Take a short break. 5 minutes. Enter. After 4 Pomodoros, take a longer break. 15 to 30 minutes. Enter, enter. Now let's add another subheading, again with two hashtags, and list out the benefits. So two hashtags space benefits. And now let's bring back our bullet points. So for bullet points, hyphen space reduces distractions. Enter, combat procrastination. Enter, makes large tasks manageable. Enter, enter. Right now, these notes are just, well, notes. They are sitting here separate, not talking to each other, like sticky notes on different walls. But Obsidian's real power comes when you start linking them together, which we will do next. This is where Obsidian's superpower comes in, linking nodes together. Let's go back to our productivity systems node. I want to link to our Pomodoro node when I mention it. I will put my cursor where I mentioned the Pomodoro technique, and now I will create a link by typing 2 opening square brackets. See how Obsidian immediately recognizes our other node? This is a bidirectional link. Not only does this text link to our Pomodoro node, but our Pomodoro node now knows it's being referenced from here. Let's create another node about deep work, a concept related to productivity. So Command N, we'll name it deep work. Let's create a title, one hashtag, space deep work. Let's add a dot. Deep work is a concept coined by Cal Newport, describing the ability to focus without distraction on cognitively demanding tasks. Let's add another subheading with 2 hashtags this time. 2 hashtags space, key principles. Let's use bullet points to list the principles. Hyphen space, minimize shallow work, schedule deep work sessions, build concentration as a skill, embrace boredom. Enter, enter. Let's add another subtitle with 2 hashtags space, connection to productivity. Deep work session pairs well with, surprise, surprise, Pomodoro technique. Opening square brackets and select this, though typically lasting longer than 25 minutes. Note that I have created another link to the Pomodoro technique. Now these nodes are starting to talk to each other. Let's create one more node on a slightly different topic. Call it morning routine. So command N, morning routine, hashtag space morning routine. A consistent morning routine sets the tone for a productive day. Let's add subheading with two hashtags space elements of an effective morning routine. Let's list them. Hyphen space hydration, enter hyphen space movement or exercise, enter hyphen space planning, enter hyphen space mindfulness. Let's add another subtitle again to hashtags space connection to productivity. Morning is often the best time for opening square brackets deep work when the mind is fresh. A good morning routine often includes planning the day using a specific productivity system. A pipe symbol, productivity system. So notice two things here. I linked deep work. That's the first. The second one is I created a link to productivity system where P and S are capital, but I gave it a custom text showing productivity system with small letters of P and S. So basically you can reference it with anything here. You do this just by adding a pipe symbol. Now our nodes are really starting to connect. Let's look at how these connections work bidirectionally. Open the Pomodoro Technique notes and look at the right side. You will see a backlinks section showing that both the productivity systems node and the deep work nodes link to this node. This is incredibly powerful. You can see which ideas connect to the one you're currently exploring. What's even cooler is the graph view. Click on the graph icon on the left sidebar here. Wow. Now we can see actually how our nodes are connected visually. Even with just 4 nodes, you can start to see a network forming. Imagine how this grows as you add dozens or hundreds of nodes over time. This visualization isn't just pretty, it's functional. You can spot clusters of related ideas, identify central concepts that connect to many others, and discover connections you might not have consciously made. Now that we've discovered the basics, let's create a few more nodes to see just how quickly you can start building a connected web of ideas. I will also show you how this kind of system can help reveal patterns and insights you might not notice otherwise. To keep things moving, I'll speed up the video here a bit. Don't worry, you won't miss anything important. And hey, if you'd like a copy of all the notes I'm creating in this demo, just drop a comment below and I will share the download link with you. Alright, let's jump in. So, as you can see, I've added a few more nodes. Now, you will see Obsidian is not just for keeping things tidy, but it's super powerful for revealing patterns your brain wouldn't catch on its own. Let's look into the graph view a bit more closer. At first, it just looks like a tidy little web. But once you zoom in and start tracing the connections, things get really interesting. Take sleep quality, for example. It connects to 4 different areas: deep work, decision fatigue, exercise, and productivity. In a traditional note-taking app, you'd have 4 separate notes mentioning sleep, but kept apart, probably in different folders or different apps. But you'd never see that sleep is actually the central hub linking all of them together. Here, it's impossible to miss. Once you notice that, you can dive deeper into those connections and uncover even more insights. Now think about your morning routine. You might have thought it was just coffee and maybe stretching, but this graph shows it's the starting point of a chain reaction. Here you can easily see that it starts with exercise, which leads to better sleep. And when you are well rested, your mind is sharper, you can focus deeper, think clearer, and avoid that mental burnout from too many decisions. All of that adds up to one thing: You are showing up as your best self, ready to do your best work. So, by looking at this, it appears that you are discovering the one habit that powers everything here. Here is another thing you'd never spot in a traditional notes app. At first glance, there is no direct connection between exercise and decision fatigue. Even here in Obsidian, it's not that apparent. But if you look closely, exercise boosts morning routine and improves sleep quality. And both of these help reduce decision fatigue. That's a hidden link. And this kind of insight is exactly what you would miss without a tool like Obsidian. That's why Obsidian is a total game changer. It's not just a place to store ideas. It's more like a thinking partner, spotting connection your conscious mind would overlook. And here is the best part. I did not plan this. I wasn't trying to create this pattern. These connections emerged naturally just by linking related concepts as I typed. The graph view revealed what I couldn't see on my own. And folks, this is just with a handful of notes. Imagine what happens when you have dozens or hundreds of ideas linked up. The pattern that emerged may surprise you. In conclusion, take this just as the beginning. Obsidian can do so much more. We've only scratched the surface to get you started. But even with just what we covered today, you've already got everything you need to build something powerful, something personal and truly useful. If you are feeling curious and want to go deeper, we absolutely can in the future. But for now, start small, stay consistent, and let those connections build over time. You will be amazed at what your second brain starts revealing. Thanks for hanging out with me. Now go make something awesome. Peace.